Ruby and Tej's wedding is skyrocketing out of control.
Oh, boy.
So wedding planner extraordinaire Jane Dayus-Hinch has come to bring it back to earth.
It'll be a laughing stock. She should be crying.
But the couple can't agree on anything.
Bagpipes? It's a Sikh wedding?
I think it's horrible.
And family traditions
No,
are being put out to pasture.
not in a million years.
Will Jane be able to guide this wedding back onto the trail?
You can't say it's about 1,000.
Or will she ride off into the sunset?
Big,
Huge.
massive.
Ooh.
Is it or is it not a giant
You just
martini
don't
glass?
want to compromise. That's what it is. You don't.
For Tej and Ruby, it all started with a yeah, maybe at first sight.
I don't know. I thought I had all the time in the world to find, you know, the perfect person, but it just ended up being you in the end.
Hey,
No, you ended up being the perfect person is what I'm saying.
yeah.
Sometimes indifference makes the heart grow fonder.
Ruby, she's so energetic, so talkative, and very opinionated. Sometimes you have a hard time trying to fit in a word or two. Like, I'll start a story.
I want to interject so badly.
right now. It takes me about 10 minutes to finish a 2-minute story.
But when it came to getting engaged, time marched on fast. Real fast.
Ball started rolling beyond our control, and next thing you know, about a week later, we were sitting down having dinner with her parents, and Ruby and I were engaged.
The proposal may have been a sprint, but the wedding itself is a marathon.
We're having a traditional Sikh wedding. It consists of 4 days.
I think an East Indian wedding differs from a standard wedding by sheer volume.
We've got guests flying in from India, England, Vancouver, just all over the place. And this America.
Numbers definitely in the thousands.
Numbers, you say? How about this shocking number? The wedding is 10 days away.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
I have so many things to do still. I have so many things to do that are making me nervous.
And since Tej spells his name with a capital O, C, and D, when things aren't running smoothly, he freaks.
Freak is an understatement.
I'm a meticulous planner and very organized.
It's a little crazy.
But the crazy thing is, when it comes to this wedding, they're not organized at all.
There's a whole bunch of things that haven't been finished.
Like the fight to the death as to how they will enter the reception.
We can work
But he's
with
not going to play the Roddy Piper tune.
No,
or
that's not what I
something
want
you
like
would
that.
want.
No,
Or Rick.
I chose for the entrance a pair of traditional Scottish bagpipe players. I was really excited about my choice. Turns out others in the wedding party, not so much.
But surely, Scottish bagpipes at a Sikh wedding is standard, right?
I don't understand where it came from. I just thought it would go away because he wouldn't get it done and we wouldn't end up with that.
Okay, maybe not.
I am really upset about it because that's not really the way I saw the wedding going.
And the series of crushing disappointments marches on for Ruby.
Centerpieces are a huge issue. We can't agree on centerpieces at all.
We talked about having a fighting fish in a bowl before, and nobody was up for that.
And Tej isn't too up on saddling up.
It is traditional for a groom to show up on a white horse in a Sikh wedding. He just refuses to get on one, and I don't understand why. I really don't understand it.
I'm afraid of animals, you know, that you'll tell me it's the cutest puppy in the world and I'll see Cujo staring back at me.
When it comes to the wedding, everything becomes a joke, and he thinks he can just laugh it off.
Though he may be laughing on the outside.
It's leaning towards being desperate at times. There's days when I'm just like pulling my hair out and I just want to crawl up into a fetal position and stop thinking about the wedding.
Jane, please help me for my sanity.
Ask and ye shall receive, lovelies, because here comes wedding planner / fairy godmother Jane Dayus-Hinch to the rescue. And Jane doesn't travel lightly. Her assistant Michael will be there to help Jane grant the couple 3 wedding wishes to save their 3-ring circus.
I got your wedding SOS. What seems to be the problem?
We're 10 days from the wedding and we still have tons of planning left to do.
And how many guests?
Somewhere from 1,000 to 1,200.
Right, we're looking at 1,200 guests.
We're looking at, yeah.
And when will you have your final number?
Well, they have the rough numbers, like about 1,000, so...
You can't say it's about 1,000. They're getting married in 10 days' time. They've got 1,200 people coming to their wedding. And Ruby's laughing. She should be crying. When you walk into the room, looking at the table, centers, have we got?
No.
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 Centerpieces, they're the signature to your wedding. They are so important.
Our entrance is a little bit of a mess right now. We're very confused. We can't agree on how to enter for the reception. I wanted to go with the traditional kind of entrance with an Indian, like, drum player, dole player, and a horse, yes.
Yeah. I think everybody involved with a wedding would love for me to come in on a horse, except the guy who has to come in on the horse himself.
And then Ruby drops a pipe bomb.
I'm having a...
Bagpipe players, which...
And not the horse.
Bagpipes or a horse? Want to make a statement? Oh, this is one way of doing it. Bagpipes at a Sikh wedding? Goodness me. It'd be a laughingstock. That poor family.
I don't have my bridal bouquet or my bridesmaids bouquets.
You haven't got your flowers?
No, I haven't.
Have you got tuxedos? Have you got your wedding
I still have to go
outfits?
for my tuxedo fitting.
So before Tej curls up in the fetal position and Ruby giggles herself senseless, Jane comes up with a plan.
We need a starting point, and I can hear flowers.
Okay.
Table centerpieces. You want fish, you want flowers. I think we have to do a lot more talking here. This board is going to be full by the time I've finished. It's a wedding for over 1,000 people in 10 days. So many decisions to be made, so much to be done now. But I'm your fairy godmother, and I can give you 3 wishes.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you.
Use them wisely, but you need to go now. They really need to think about these carefully. This could make or break their wedding.
Meeting with Jane was like a harsh reality check, and it just told us everything that we still have left to do.
She kind of awoke the fear in us about, how things could go wrong.
Ruby and Tej, fabulous couple. What's the matter with their wedding? How long have we got?
Tej and Ruby are getting married in 6 days. They have 1,200 people coming to their wedding, and they have zero confidence that they can pull this off.
There's days when I'm just like pulling my hair out and I just want to crawl up into a fetal position and stop thinking about the wedding.
Enter Jane Dayus-Hinch, wedding planning dynamo. She's here to grant them 3 wishes to help this couple get their wedding under control. But today, Tej has work to do. He's trying to wrangle up the courage to ride in on a horse for the traditional Sikh entrance to his wedding. Problem is, scaredy cat can't get past the dog.
That's not happening.
Freedom, come here.
Tej.
Jessica.
Jessica, nice to
Very
meet you.
nice to meet you. How are you?
Deathly afraid right now. I'd rather be like bungee cord jumping over the Grand Canyon.
Really?
Yeah.
She's very harmless. Would you like to pet her?
No.
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 So what is your goal for today?
Honestly, I just want to see if the idea of me and a horse is even feasible.
Okay, would you like to go meet
sure.
Shrek?
So while the rhinestone cowboy cowers behind his host, his cowgirl is down yonder checking out some flowers.
I need like fuchsias and something that has.
Do you want
has
something
fuchsia stands
springy?
out. Springy might be nice.
With only 6 days to go, flowers might be nice. Meanwhile, back at the ranch,
I don't think I could pet the horse.
What if I brought him just a little bit closer?
never mind the horse, the Rottweiler has Tej in a tizzy.
Come on, buddy. Come on, it's okay.
No.
No?
No. No. Not in a million years. It's just not happening. I can't do it. All right, Jessica, thank you very much for all your help.
You're very
Thank you for
welcome.
understanding. Walking up to it, I was trying to convince myself that I'd get in and I'd give this a shot. And then when I got in up there close and like, the size of his head is just humongous and I couldn't get over that.
The next day, back on paved land, city slicker Tej calls Jane for assistance.
Hello.
Hi, Jane. It's Tej. I went to the stable, tried to do the deal with the horses. I tried my darnest, but I'm at the end of my rope here. I don't know what else to do.
Oh, it just gets worse and worse.
I'm gonna take a wedding wish on this one. I'm gonna need your help.
So wish one renders Jane and her assistant Michael monosyllabic.
Well,
Big.
huge.
Massive.
Ooh.
Ooh is right. But still, Jane works her magic, comes up with a plan, and meets with Tej the next day.
We've got to get Tej to overcome his fear of animals in a matter of days, and this is just a huge wish.
But who can pull off this kind of wish? Wonder Jane, of course.
I'm here to meet with a behavior therapist, and I'm just outside waiting for Jane.
Hello, Tej.
Hi, Jane.
And I brought Oscar to meet you.
Oh, great. I'm really excited about that.
Tej and Oscar waste no pleasantries, and Jane gets them right to work.
Tej is getting married in 4 days' time. And part of the tradition is that he arrives at his wedding on a horse. He's having real difficulty with this, and we need to help him.
Well, I think that we can help him in a hurry by doing some exposure with him. And I can see right now that he's making himself feel comfortable and safe and not fearful and anxious with the dog immediately to his right.
I went to the stables to try to see if I could overcome my fear of the horses on my own. It was very, very difficult. It wasn't just mentally impossible, it was physically impossible.
Yes.
I was just so tense. To reach over and make contact was hard.
Do you understand why?
You know, fear being a normal physiological response,
Correct.
you know, I think my fight or flight response really kicked in.
How many years now have you been avoiding, do you think?
As long as I can remember. When I was a kid, I was never around animals.
There is a certain amount of predictability to animals, isn't there? If we spend enough time around them, you begin to see how predictable they really are. Okay? Now, what startled you there? What was
I see the dog
approaching your leg?
The dog was in Jane's arms, and then he wasn't,
Right?
and I wasn't expecting that.
And the more that you avoid, the stronger the fear becomes, and it develops a real, huge life of its own. For the wedding, how do you think you're going to handle the horse?
Oh, I'm not going to. This is not of stubbornness or anything, but at this point, I don't see it happening.
No, I agree with you, Tej, because I think that the fear is so significant and so high at this point that I don't think it's in the cards that you're going to be riding a horse.
So while Tej shrinks into the chair, Jane works out a compromise fit for a fairy tale.
I understand how enormous this problem seems, and to actually get up on a horse is just not going to happen. How would you feel riding in a carriage, but the horse is pulling the carriage, but you're in the carriage with?
You know, it's still a step to take, but I'd feel that another human would be in control.
But when you think you can, Tej, touch his fur. That's good. That's very good. Who's in control?
I still feel myself and Jane are.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're in control, and Jane is got him, and so he's very relaxed and happy and peaceful, isn't he?
Right.
That's very good. That's a big deal, isn't it?
It's the first dog I've ever petted.
Was that amazing, or was that amazing?
So while fairy godmother Jane seeks out the perfect horse and carriage for Tej, the couple falls to centerpieces.
That's just ridiculous.
We're not doing fish, but we're not doing candles in a martini glass for sure.
Okay, so let me just try something with flowers. I'll go out and take a look and see what I can do.
All right, but I want to see it before we finalize anything. One thing I don't want to see in the centerpieces is roses. I just think they're cliche. Everybody's done them. I'd like to see like something more creative than that.
Oh, wow. Those are nice. I really like this.
Oh boy. Tej and Ruby are hosting a massive Indian wedding in only 3 days. Yet they still can't agree on centerpieces
Why do you always have to resort to totally ridiculous scenarios?
or their entrance for the wedding. And it doesn't help that the nervous groom is shaking all over.
That's not happening.
So they've wedding SOS'd Uber planner Jane Dayus-Hinch, who will grant them 3 wishes to save their wedding. Today, Ruby is desperately trying to come up with a centerpiece for 100 tables. And Tej, who has gone on record as saying how he thinks roses stink, is coming to see the handiwork.
What do you think?
It's roses.
What's wrong with roses?
It's just cliche. I was saying it was just cliched. Is this what you guys came up with? I really didn't want roses. Can we use a wish here?
Yeah, I think we should get...
We've done as much as we can with this.
So ring-a-ding-ding, Miss Jane Dayus-Hinch.
If we can't find the right person I've got a lot of flower arranging to do.
But before Jane wilts, she gets Michael to make some last-minute flower arrangements.
No. Oh. Oh, okay.
Because Jane needs time to see what's up the pipe with only 3 days to the wedding.
What happened about the bagpipes?
I've been in contact with them through email.
Tej, don't lose the focus. Don't lose what we're trying to achieve here. There is still a lot more going on. But remember, you've still got one wish left. Choose wisely. I've booked a horse and carriage. Mike is doing 100 centerpieces in 3 days. I can't wait to find out what wish number 3 is.
But first, Jane has wish 2 to solve, and Michael has some, strange ideas.
I thought you'd booked a florist, not a prop house.
And so Jane is feeling like if you want something done right,
Come on, we've got work to do.
you get Jane to do it.
We've got a very, very urgent, pressing situation. 100 tables and 3 days.
So many options are presented,
Wow. I love it.
I don't.
but then, bingo!
Yep, good job. The tall vase, flowers. I think this might work.
So Jane leaves the centerpieces in what she hopes are capable hands, but she has one nagging, or rather droning, worry. So she visits Tej, who's in the thick of pre-wedding celebrations.
How's it going?
It's going.
Tej, what haven't you done yet?
I haven't called the bagpipers.
But this is your grand entrance.
I know, just haven't been able to get into it yet. I still have a wish showing.
And so Wish 3 is born to the sound of the pipes, the pipes.
Last and final one. I think I feel safest with this in your hands now. A day before.
I love it. Bagpipes, here we come. Tej has booked the bagpipers, but he's never seen them, never heard them. There's a lot of hot air going on around here.
So off goes Jane to meet the man with the bag. Now, is that a thistle in his sporn, or is he just happy to see her?
Have you played at an East Asian wedding before?
Oh, yes, I've done many of them.
It's news to me. They're looking for this grand entrance into 1,000 to 1,200 people. They want this.
Wow factor.
We're definitely wow pipers.
Fantastic. The bride is worried that it could sound too marching band. Is there anything you could play that isn't?
We are actually playing for a procession.
Maybe if you play something like that, we can film this and show it to the family.
So back at Tej's house, the clan gathers, and it appears they're getting reeled in. Well, maybe not everyone.
I think it's horrible.
I don't know. I don't see what you're seeing. I see, like, really amazing. That's awesome. It's exactly what I wanted. It was like...
I don't know. Everybody's just going to be like, that's so strange. I wonder why they chose that. So I don't know what will make me feel better about this.
If we can get him to play something a bit more...
Indian, maybe?
We have to convince Ruby that this is going to be the wow factor at her wedding, not ruin her wedding.
And Jane knows all about marching to the beat of her own drum. In this case, an Indian drum.
If I can get you a doll player to play coming in with the pipes, would you be happy with that?
I think that would be a good compromise.
Better than a compromise. They could play some sort of tune where they complement each other.
How's everybody else feeling now?
It's not such a crazy idea after all.
So Tej is happy, but Ruby needs to hear it to believe it.
The only thing I can do right now is pray and hope that what Jane does works out and that it does work out.
When Ruby and Tej's wedding plans steamrolled out of control, they sent out an urgent SOS to wedding fairy godmother Jane Dayus-Hinch. And now it's up to Jane and her 3 wishes to peel this wedding off the ground. Today is wedding day. The players are assembled, and Jane and Michael get right on top of the music for this shindig.
So you're the DJ?
Yeah.
Have you had any instructions?
I got no instructions so far.
You haven't got any instructions? I shall help the DJ with that, because to make it all run smoothly, Everybody needs to know what they're doing and what the cues are.
So while Jane and Michael get the itinerary in order, Ruby and Tej get hitched. Back at the reception hall, Jane checks on the outcome of Wish 2, the centerpieces.
It's great how he's done it.
It's beautiful.
So he's put some little pink flowers in there. He's got the height.
And then back to Wish 1, the horse and carriage.
This is very English.
I love it.
But Jane is still very concerned as to whether Tej will love it.
The reason I've come over to see you is that we need to reassure the bridegroom that nothing's going to happen. His worry is that the horse is going to take off.
The horse will not take off, no matter what.
And that's what you need to tell him. So I need you to be a good boy. Be a good boy for Tej, OK? No scary movements. Now it's the calm before the storm. We just now have to wait for the bride and bridegroom to arrive.
And at the risk of being fabulous, Jane changes into appropriate dress for a Sikh wedding. Then she's off to check in on her multicultural musicians.
Are you going to match their tempo?
I don't know. We'll need to try it.
So Jam Master Jane frantically works on getting the rhythm in him in time for the grand entrance. But first, Tej needs to meet with his big, hairy nemesis.
Has he been doing this for a while?
He's been doing it for quite a few years, yes.
All right, buddy. I'm gonna trust you on this one, all right?
Come on then, let's have a carriage ride.
I think I can do it in the, yeah, I think I can get in the carriage.
So Tej and Ruby mount their sweet romantic ride. But tension mounts inside, while Jane prepares everyone for the couple's grand entrance.
Ladies and gentlemen, the bride and bridegroom will not come in until everyone's inside.
As Mr. and Mrs. Tajinder and Ruby Sahuda, please give it up.
Ruby and Tej chose their wishes wisely. It's all come together into their fairy tale wedding.
Jane did an amazing job. We're so happy, and we love Jane. All three wishes came out beautifully. I think that those are what added some pizzazz to the wedding.
When Tej arrived in the stretch limo, he saw the horse, and you saw him think, oh my goodness, I've now got to do this.
It was fun to actually come in on the horse and carriage. The whole feeling of like the open air.
The Scottish pipers.
When the doors opened, the bagpipers walked in first.
Yeah, I guess that's the part we were worried about the most, just the entrance, all of that stuff
the
put
entrance
together. The horse and carriage,
all day
walking
we've been
in.
talking about that.
Yeah, but it worked fabulously.
You saw everybody go, wow. What can I say? It's colourful, it's dancing, it's everything you want in an Indian wedding.
We're missing the wedding. It's been really, you keep talking and talking.
I know, I'm so drunk. I'm gonna keep talking unless you guys get me out of here.
I love it.
Oh, because it's all sparkles and glitter, that's why.
Sparkles and glitter. Look at this one, Jane. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Me. Hot.